Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully, we have a couple of our guest speakers rolling on now. But for those who don't know me, my name's Rhonda Muller. I'll do a bit of an intro for myself a little bit down the track. But I just want to say thank you so much for taking your time out for, this can be quite a busy time of everyone's evening. So I'm going to get cracking. So, Colleen, are you on the call, darling? If you are, can you please unmute? Can you see Colleen on the call?
I can't see her, Rhonda.
Oh,
No.
well, that's going to be interesting. All right. Well, I'm just going to get started and
Hang
then
on, I'll ring.
maybe we can get back to Colleen a little bit down the track. Okay, so we've got a few people speaking tonight. Dr. Gail Pearson and Madeline Crow. So Madeline Crow is an occupational therapist, also epigenetics coach. She's based on the Sunshine Coast. Dr. Gail Pearson is a certified anaesthetist. Actually, that's an old slide. I should have updated it. I do apologise. But she's also a natural health consultant, very passionate about natural health. Unfortunately, she can't join us tonight, so we've got a little video clip that we can play on her behalf. And me, my name's Rhonda Muller, and again, I just want to say welcome to tonight's call, The Science of Activation. So, like I was saying, I understand everyone's really busy. So whether you're here because you're already using activation in your daily routine, or maybe you're new and curious, or perhaps you're a health professional like us who's been hearing the buzz about activation, we're really glad that you are able to join us. So I'm a functional nutritional therapist, clinic owner. I'm also an educator, health detective at heart. I'm a mum, grandmother of three, and another one on the way, and someone who's walked this path both personally and professionally, as someone who's been, working with activation for nearly 7 years. And let me tell you, what we're about to dive into tonight isn't just theory; it's real. It's making a measurable difference in people's energy, inflammation, gut and mental health, recovery focus, concentration, weight, and just everyday, health and wellness. And I've been educating people about health and nutrition for over 16 years. But before we get started, I just touch on a little bit about why I do this. In 2016, I hit burnout really hard. I was running a really busy clinic, looking after my family, juggling clients, supporting others. And on the outside, everything looked like I was managing well. But on the inside, I was foggy. I was foggy. I was inflamed. I started gaining weight. Hormones were going all over the place. And I was truly just barely holding on. But I felt like I was doing everything right. I knew the science. I was eating well. I was taking the right nutrients, doing all the functional testing. I knew what I needed to do and I was doing the work, but nothing shifted. And it wasn't until I really started to dig deeper into the role of oxidative stress and mitochondrial health, inflammation, and how to actually activate the pathways that we're switching off in my body. And that's when everything started to shift significantly. And it wasn't just for me, but it was for my clients, for my family, my friends. And in fact, after just 3 days, and this isn't the same for everyone, but after 3 days, I felt like I was back in my 20s. So, in my 50s and feeling like I was back, running BNS bowls and, juggling all these different committees and studying and working and playing sport. Yeah, I was back. And that's why we're here today. So we're not going to throw Band-Aids at symptoms or anything like that. We're talking about, the nervous system, inflammation, gut health, supporting GLP-1 hormone, if you've heard about that, so you can feel energized and just feel like yourself again. So we're going to explore, why oxidative stress is the silent root of almost every modern health issue, how your genes already know what to do. They just need the right signals. So let's dive in. This is about science that's been around since 2003 and it's finally getting attention. So grab yourself a notebook if that's your thing. Sit back and absorb whatever lands, and we'll have time for a Q&A at the end so you can jot down all your questions and we can go from there. All right, so let's get cracking. So I'm not sure if you've heard of this doctor, Dr. Ignace Semmelweis, maternity doctor, and he was known as the savior of mothers. So he was noticing his nurses actually washing their hands with soap and noting that the significant rate of infection started to plummet. And when he started to share that with his colleagues, he was ridiculed. He ended up dying a pauper. This is a gentleman from the 1800s, dying a pauper, lost his profession because they totally dismissed what he was saying. So some of the information that you'll be hearing tonight may seem absolutely foreign. It may seem new or really out there, but I just ask that you keep an open mind. So we're going pretty much from hand washing to cellular activation and asking, is the declining health the way that we, and the way we look, function and feel, is it something that we just simply have to accept? And I'm here to say, no, not at all. This is the business of activation. This is what we'll be talking about tonight. So welcome to the front lines of the next frontier, where we don't wait for the future of healthcare, we activate it. And it's the breakthrough within. So what if the greatest untapped breakthrough in human performance, health span, and longevity was already coded within us, waiting to be activated? Because I'm not sure about you, but if you think the old model of the health system is broken, put a number 1 in the chat. This is not about treating symptoms. This is about activating dormant potential. So I want to set the scene, right? You've probably heard gut health, all disease begins in the gut. And I totally agree. Our skin is our largest organ, and the skin that you can see is about 1.5 to 2 square meters. The internal skin is about 2 to 3 tennis courts. So that's about 200 to 600 square meters. That's just the digestive tract, not our veins, not our arteries or organs or anything. It is absolutely vital for nutrient absorption, hormones, immune defense. It's a barrier against pathogens. It regulates our body temperature, vital for detoxification and beyond. And the gut health really stems from how we were conceived, right? The pregnancy, how we were fed, our environment, the stress, all of these things really come into play. That's pretty much what we call epigenetics. And this slide here is a bit busy, but it's really setting the scene in regards to gut health. So I've got multiple screens going, so hopefully you can see what I'm pointing at. But pretty much here on the left-hand side, this is showing the small intestine, right? When the gut health is all balanced, homeostasis, everything's all hunky-dory. You can see here the small intestine about the size of your little finger, or as I say it, as the kids look up dad's nose. You can see all the hair like villi, right? Well, that's the villi. The yellow part here is the mucosal layer. Now, the mucosal layer is nice and plump. It's keeping everything out that should not be seeping through. The nutrients are really the only thing that should be coming into the bloodstream. And this mucosal layer looks a bit deceiving because it looks quite thick, but it's thinner than a strand of hair. So the mucosal layer, like I said, it keeps, bacteria, pathogens, undigested food, etc. out. The little purple lines here are the tight junctions, and that is also keeping everything sealed. So all that's coming through are the nutrients. The yellow teardrops, they're free radical molecules. If you're breathing, metabolizing food, if you're a mammal, even my little fur baby over my shoulder here, if you can see him, we're creating free radical molecules. We cannot avoid that. But when our body's working properly, we're creating antioxidant molecules to neutralize them. The little football here is mitochondria. That's the battery in every single cell in our body. So everything's all working properly. Over here, this is where the body is inflamed. It could be a whole host of things. It could be bacterial. It could be, too many antioxidants. Oh, let's get everyone to mute, please. Oh, sorry, Tina, can you please make sure everyone's muted, darling? And so, when everything's all inflamed, you can see the mucosa layer is really quite depleted. it's becoming leaky. The tight junctions are allowing all this stuff to enter the bloodstream. That's where we end up in trouble. And the free radicals, well, they're now running amok. They're thriving because we're not making antioxidants to neutralize them. That's right. We have the ability to make our own antioxidant molecules. The mitochondria is damaged. It's damaged because of the inflammation, unfriendly bacteria, but also the free radicals are damaging the mitochondria. So that creates a whole host of problems. I want you to take note of down here where it says interleukin 1B, interleukins. This is really, really important. I want you to take note of that for later on in the presentation. So when we have increased reactive oxygen species, free radicals, it's damaging the mitochondria, right? It's creating more inflammation, decreasing that mucosal layer, making the gut leaky. It's a real, real problem. So this slide here is very similar, leaky gut, but I want you to take note of the yellow cluster, right, in the L cells. This is responsible for making the GLP-1, a natural hormone that helps control your blood sugar, appetite, inflammation. But when there's damage, when there's inflammation, your L cells can't work properly and your GLP-1 levels drop. Less GLP-1 means more cravings, more blood sugar spikes, and even more gut damage. It's a real vicious cycle. And Madeleine, once she's on the call, if she's already on, she'll go over this in more detail. And GLP-1 receptor sites are found all throughout the body. But like I said, Madeleine will touch more on this. So the gut health, you've probably heard we are more bacteria than what we are human, right? And so the whole goal is to get the microbiome, the gut flora, to a beautiful, diverse range of bacteria. So we still need a small amount of the unfriendly, but these guys should be totally overpowering the unfriendly bacteria. But what I see in clinic is that most people, instead of having the diversity of the Amazon jungle, the Amazon rainforest of all different species of plants and, animals and reptiles and all those types of things, most people have a tiny little courtyard, a concrete courtyard with a couple of pots and plants, a cat, dog, and a bird. We need to get it back to the diversity of the Amazon jungle. And you're never going to do that while you have dysfunction of the gut, right? And so this is exactly the same kind of slide, but it's really talking more about the GLP-1. So when the good bacteria, the gut bacteria is out of balance from whether it's stress or poor diet, antibiotics, the pill, chemical load, all these things, they're irritating the gut lining and they trigger inflammation, and inflammation damages the gut wall, which is your protective barrier, and it affects these special cells, right, the EECs that make GLP-1. It's that hormone that supports your blood sugar control, the appetite, inflammation, less GLP-1, more inflammation, more cravings, poorer metabolic function. So, yeah, it's that real vicious cycle. Okay, so you can flip the switch. Your body isn't broken, it's just been switched off. And tonight we're going to show you how you can reactivate it. We talked about how the things go wrong: bacterial imbalances, inflammation, low GLP-1, free radicals, oxidative stress, mitochondrial dysfunction, even the low mucosal layer, that's all collagen, right? But here's the good news. You can simply switch it back on, and that's where activation comes in, right? LifeVantage, if you haven't heard of it before, is the activation company, and we've been around since 2003. I started with the LifeVantage company in December 2018. Now, we don't wait for sickness. We flip the switch back on naturally at the root so the body starts working like it's meant to, like nature intended. And what's fascinating about these best-selling books, if you haven't seen them before, this is all activation in the media. They just don't realize it. Outlive, Life Force, the Longevity Code, the Good Energy are all speaking of the concept of activation. Even if you're not using that exact word, they're diving into cellular signaling, energy pathways, the metabolic pathways, mitochondria, inflammation, all these things that we've been activating naturally for over 20 years. Well, for me, nearly 7 years. The mainstream media and mainstream health gurus are now catching up, and that's great. So when you hear them talking about resetting the metabolism or turning on longevity genes, etc., healing from the inside out, they're really describing the process of activating the body's innate intelligence to repair, protect, and perform. Yeah. They're writing about what we've been doing since 2003, since LifeVantage has been doing this since 2003. Okay, so how can you age well, extend your lifespan, as well as your health span? Can nutrition affect genes and all hormones? Ways that we age: increasing oxidative stress, mitochondrial decline, collagen decline, GLP-1 decline. Can we activate dormant genes, enzymes, and hormones? Yes. Yes, we can. We take it to make it. We empower our bodies to make antioxidants, proteins, enzymes, hormones, and the things you need for better health. When you share LifeVantage, you're also activating opportunity with the ability to earn a supplemental income. That might be for you, it might not, but I'm here to explain what these products do. So on the far left, the blue bottle here, NRF2, this is Protandim NRF2. This was brought to market in 2003. Then NRF1, 2016, the liquid collagen activator, 2023, and now recently, this year, the Mind Body GLP-1 activator, 2025. So these are not supplements, right? We take these products to make what our body needs. Protandim NRF2 helps your body make antioxidants. NRF1 helps your body regenerate mitochondria. The True Science Liquid Collagen Activator helps your body make its own collagen again. And the GLP-1 activator helps your body make the GLP-1 hormone again. You never have to question if our products do this. Everything's backed by independent studies. So, have you heard of oxidative stress? Oxidative stress, like I was saying, those little yellow teardrops of free radicals, they lead to oxidative stress, cellular damage, rusting, internal rusting. Cut an apple or a banana in half, leave it on the bench, it goes brown. Same thing is happening to us. All mammals on the planet have this. The unfortunate side is that normally when everything's working fine, that NRF2 pathway that we have to make our own antioxidants, actually to neutralize those free radicals, it actually starts to peter out in our mid-20s. But what I see in clinic is that it's happening way earlier. Children are born with excessive amounts of oxidative stress because our environment is way more toxic than what it was 50 years ago, 100 years ago. Pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, genetically modified food, Wi-Fi, what we're putting on our skin, what we're washing our clothes in, all of these things are really damaging on a cellular level, right? And don't take my word for it. Have a look at PubMed, pretty much the Google for doctors. This slide here, I actually took a screenshot of this last year. Yeah, you can see oxidative stress studies out there. What's that? Over 316,000. Look what I've noticed today. An extra 45,000 studies since last year. We're not even through halfway through. Well, yeah, almost halfway through 2025. So it is a big concern, and people are trying to work out what they can do to get on top of it. So how can you reduce or manage oxidative stress? So as a nutritional therapist, I always recommend we eat whole foods, especially foods high in antioxidants, right? So you can live a healthy lifestyle, eat lots of fruits and veggies, yada, yada, right? We can take antioxidant supplements. However, it's not nearly enough to reduce oxidative stress. For example, one tub of blueberries has about 6,500 antioxidant molecules. Our body has at least 1 million free radicals at any one time. I don't know about you, but we cannot eat enough. We can't eat our way out of that situation. We would need a ton, like a truckload of blueberries, and my budget would not allow. But scientists have found discovered a pathway in the body, like I mentioned, NRF2, nuclear respiratory factor 2. And this pathway is responsible for producing antioxidants in the body. And as I touched on before, antioxidants, that pathway actually starts to reduce in our mid-20s, right? But the environment is switching it off way earlier. And LifeVantage discovered that pathway that can be switched back on by taking just one tablet a day, which then produces 1 million antioxidants. This is what we call activation. It's reversing the aging code and is now a reality. So we're all born with antioxidants, right? And so we can supplement, like I was saying, with blueberries or food or even vitamin C, etc. But it is nowhere near more effective. So increasingly effective protection at birth is our primary internal antioxidants, the endogenous antioxidants that we're all born with. For example, superoxide dismutase, catalase, glutathione. These are absolutely paramount, but unfortunately, they're being switched off. And if you take anything with acetaminophen, paracetamol, it depletes your glutathione like that. Not a very good click. I apologize. But yeah, and what do we give to our children all the time? Yeah, we are pumping them full of paracetamol. It is really concerning to me. So Protandim NRF2 is designed to reawaken that antioxidant system again, right? Remember the teardrop free radical? This opens up the Pac-Man, the antioxidant molecules, to neutralize it. And this was formulated and brought into the world pretty much in 2003. It is scientifically proven to reduce your oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days, increases glutathione by 300% in 120 days. So it helps to make your own antioxidants again. It decreases the free radical damage in your body. Yeah. You cannot supplement your way out of it. It's either a 1-to-1 ratio with food and supplements or 1,000,000-to-1 with just this one tablet a day. And it's about the synergistic blend. I'm not going to go through all the ingredients. If you want more information, you can go back to the person who invited you, because we just won't have enough time to go through everything. But it's a synergistic blend of these 5 herbs that makes it 18 times more effective than the sum of the ingredients. This is huge, because I was taking turmeric, I was taking all these herbs, and I was not getting the results that I got within 3 days, like holy jolly. And again, there's other health professionals that have done their own studies, a dry blood analysis. This is Joel, 3rd-generation naturopath. You can see here in the yellow gaps here, this is showing his levels of oxidative stress. Now, we're talking about a super cruisy guy, super healthy, goes surfing pretty much every day, 1 tablet a day after 30 days, and you can see the levels of oxidative stress had diminished considerably. Another gentleman here, he's a personal trainer, and he went to a doctor to do a live blood analysis. So this is showing his levels of oxidative stress. And you can see it's clumping, teardrops, etc., showing the levels of oxidative stress. 1 tablet a day after 3 months, you can see it's free flowing. This is activation, healthy cells that are visible. And this study here was actually done by a company called Biogen Iodec. And they were doing a study to compare what other NRF2 activators were out on the market, because they brought out a product called Tecfidera, helps with MS. Now, you can go through this study yourself. I was gobsmacked, because I actually got off a call with a pediatrician, because when I first heard about this, I was so skeptical. I just thought, well, why haven't I heard about this before? But when I got on the call with the pediatrician, he said to me, Rhonda, I bet you're using sulforaphane. And I said, yeah, it's an NRF2 activator. It's broccoli sprouts. It's beautiful. And he said, well, did you know Protandim is 7 times more effective than sulforaphane? I was gobsmacked. I was really peeved off. I heard that in 2018, 2019. Why hadn't I heard about that before? This product here, they had to take off the market because it was killing people. So what we have is twice as effective than what that Tecfidera drug is, and ours is 100% natural. No adverse side effects. Amazing. Now, this is a slide showing our survival genes. Over 400 survival genes that when we have too much oxidative stress, our survival genes are overexpressed or underexpressed. If left too long, it leads to disease and conditions. If you take one bottle per decade that you've been on the planet, so for me, I'm in my mid-50s. I start today, okay, Rhonda, take a bottle every month. So I need at least to be on this for 5 to 6 months. When I am on that, then my survival genes start to come back into balance. It's all proven. You can have a look at all the studies. Absolutely extraordinary. So you can either supplement with blueberries or 375 oranges a day, 120 vitamin C tablets, or 87 glasses of red wine. I like my red wine, but that's a little bit too much. Or even a kilo of dark chocolate a day, or you can take just one tablet a day. And I know what I do. I never miss a day without it because we are amplifying our body to work as nature intended because you are using all of your cells' DNA activation to induce these enzymes to be present. And there is nothing that will even touch the sides on the planet that I'm aware of. It's at the forefront of medicine, and this is why I'm thoroughly invested. Okay, so have you heard of mitochondria? So mitochondria, this is a bit deceiving because it looks like we only have 3 mitochondria per cell in our body. Mitochondria is the battery in every single cell in our body, right? So pretty much they keep our heart pumping and keep our lungs inflating, yeah? But if you look at it, for example, we have 37 trillion cells, right? And our muscles have about 200 mitochondria per muscle cell. Our heart, about 10,000 mitochondria per muscle cell. Our ovaries, about 100,000 mitochondria per ovary cell. So it is absolutely important, vital, that our mitochondria is working properly because if it's not, us women, we pass on our dodgy mitochondria to our babies. Our sons don't pass it on, but our daughters do. So it's vital that we get them working again to produce the ATP, the energy that our cells, our organs need. So this is where the protandem NRF1 comes in. It increases your activation of your mitochondria. It supports mitochondria. So reduces free radicals in the body, helps decrease free radicals damaged in the cells, and enhances energy, focus, concentration. It is amazing. When you pair those two products together, the NRF1 and the NRF2 activators, this is some of the stuff that we see in clinic with children. Focus, concentration. There is a brilliant clip from a pediatrician. If you haven't seen it yet, please go back to the person who invited you to this or shared the recording and they can flick it through. It's 19 minutes. It's definitely worth watching. So then we have Axio. So we take Axio and this helps us to make brain messages. It's energy, activates mental clarity, powers the brain and body, supports positive mood. So we don't need the energy drinks. Now, if you've ever looked into, I work with pediatric special needs, mental health, gut health, women's health, and I started to study because our youngest was diagnosed severely autistic. And through all my studies and working and addressing the root cause way before I even found out about activation, we've recovered his health to the point where his diagnosis was reversed in May 2016. I didn't find out about activation until December 2018. And when I saw this video, this neurofeedback video, I was absolutely gobsmacked because you can see here the red is thinking, activity, mental function, distraction, distracted struggles to focus, all these things, executive functioning, organizational skills. 12 days later, after adding in the NRF1, NRF2 Axio, holy jolly, that is showing a normal EEG. Extraordinary. 12 days later, same here. Yeah. This is how the body processes energy and information. You can see in the before, it's red and blue, it's not so good. 12 days later, it's within normal range. It's changes on a cellular molecular level. It is functioning. It's instant brain food. So, yeah, pardon me. If you haven't seen that video, reach out and ask for a copy of it. So we're taking Axio. It's a brain food drink powder. You add it to water. I actually have mine in a smoothie in mid-morning. And then there's also a decaf one, which I have in the evening with a little bit of yogurt. And it just helps me to lower all my cortisol levels. It's just absolutely extraordinary. So we take this to make neurotransmitters and energy. It reduces cortisol. It's got asparagus extract in it. Absolutely love it. Full of B vitamins as well. And then another product that I wanted to just quickly touch on is the LifeVantage ProBio. So this probiotic has 6 strains, but what I especially love about it is that it has a delayed release technology in the capsule. So I sell probably 20 to 30 different types of probiotics in clinic because I do microbiome, stool digestive analysis testing to identify what people have, they don't have. So I do targeted microbiome therapy. So I'll just get everyone to mute, please, if they can. And this one, the capsule, it takes about an hour to actually dissolve. So we can guarantee 60% of that beneficial bacteria will get to where it needs to go. So it's absolutely extraordinary. All the products are gluten-free, dairy-free, no rubbish or anything in it. So if people are just wanting to actually get started, these we call this a kickstart bundle, and this is a really great way to prime your body and get started before even looking at the GLP-1 if that's something you're open to. Okay, so I'm going to pass over to Dr. Gail Pearson now. Unfortunately, she couldn't join us live, but I'm just going to click on here, and hopefully this video will work properly. And Colleen, I've noticed that you've joined the call as well, so I'll get you to do a bit of a summary a little bit later as well. So just bear with me, and hopefully, if Colleen, you can give me a thumbs up when you can hear this, please. No, it didn't work. Okay, hold on. Let me see if it's going to work.
They have never seen as good a sleeper as me. I know that if I was the worst, and medical people are. My background is in anesthesia, my background is in drugs, and so what I have seen in the past is being able to look at drugs, how they affect long-term effects are, what the research is. So I've got a background in looking at what is good and what is not, and what we should embrace and what we should throw out the window, and who we should do that for. Okay, so anyway, natural, not me. I'm a pharmaceutical girl and always have been. I'm traditionally medically trained, and I don't feel that natural things have anything to offer. Like everybody else on this board, probably been on some turmeric supplements, taking a bit of fish oil, didn't do a squat of difference for me. So then, unfortunately, I was laid up with a surgery post when I'd fallen off the bike. So I was laid up for 3 months, couldn't work, sitting there doing nothing. Friend says, you've got to look at this stuff. I said, it's natural, thrown out the window. I'm not interested in a squat. She said, it's got science. Ha, ha, ha. I said, science, you must be joking. Show me the science. I can be quite aggressive when I want to be, and it really, and in me, is really not pleasant. But anyway, she gave me the whole list of 27 papers. So they had nothing to do. Sat there, I read every single one. I got on the call with people who had introduced these products to Australia. I got on the call with a scientist in Melbourne. I got on the call with the scientific team of this company in Utah. They said, who's this little girl from New Zealand who's pushing us? Doesn't she know that this is really good stuff? And I really wanted to dive in deeply on a lot of those studies, ask them questions. And then when I talked to them, I thought, actually, I've read these papers, I've talked to these people, light bulb moment. This is a paradigm shift for health, because what we are doing with this is we are healing from the inside out, using body's natural processes that are already there. We're just ramping them up, rather than traditionally healing from the outside in, as Dr. Ken says, putting band-aids on. We weren't doing that. And so I said, okay, I'm out there and I am telling everybody, because everybody has oxidative stress and everybody in the world needs to be on NRO2. I had no idea about this. I had no idea about the company. I had no idea about direct selling. But I tell you what, when you have got a product which is scientifically and independently scientifically backed like this, and I say independent because a lot of the drug companies of the anesthetic drugs I work with have in-house research, whereas this is all independent, it's peer-reviewed, it's published on the doctor's Google, and that gives it real bone. So then it just sort of established into me talking with the company, and then I thought, I'm in. I am in with this, even before I got the product. So I haven't even personally tried them myself before I could see the power of this. And as Dr. Neil so eloquently explained, all we're doing is supporting the body and the processes that it's naturally programmed to do. Easy.
Oh, I can move that across.
Yeah, process going.
Okay, can you see my screen again? Dr. Gail Pearson? Can you give me a thumbs up, Colleen? Can you see my screen? Yep, fantastic. Awesome. Okay, thank you so much. So I really love the way that Dr. Gail Pearson pretty much just sums it all up, being house skeptical, and I was exactly the same. So I want to just touch just quickly on the collagen, and then Colleen, I'll pass over to you if that's okay. So like I mentioned before, collagen, the gut lining is made from collagen. All the folds that keep your food inside are formed by collagen. When the folds separate undigested food particles like the leaky gut, everything is leaking into the bloodstream. So bacterial imbalances, food sensitivities, medication stress, oxidative stress, all those things are linked to leaky gut. And unfortunately, we lose collagen at the rate of pretty much 1% every year after our 20s. And once we've hit 50, we've lost almost 50%. And then throw menopause into the mix, holy dooly, we've lost it even more. So there's a whole host of things that actually break down collagen. So it can be glyphosate, just one of the chemicals, inflammation, inflammatory diet, lots of sugar and all those, processed foods, genetically modified foods, even wheat, because it's so genetically modified today. Stress, UV damage, age, menopause, like I was talking about, oxidative stress, environmental toxins, and a whole host of other things. Even high cortisol levels will break down your collagen. And so we need collagen for pretty much every single part of our body. So most people aren't aware that our bones are 40% collagen. When we hit menopause, our bones start to become brittle. So we want to make sure our collagen is elevated again, not just supplementing, but we're making our collagen again. Our eyes are 90% collagen. So, it's really impactful for our cognitive, sexual support, liver detox, brain health, mood health, all these things that I work with and I'm passionate about. So this is where we're introducing the liquid collagen activator. And so these are some of the before and afters that you can see, like look at the skin, elasticity in the legs, stretch marks, cellulite. Like this lady here, Betty, she had such remarkable results that after 5 months, she started sharing it with other people because everyone was saying, I want what Betty's having. Doesn't that remind you of that movie When Harry Met Sally? But it's just a natural progress, right? And there's just like this lady here, it looks like mother and daughter, same person. And I've met these people in person. And this here is all about function. And Madeline can touch on that as well. Being an occupational therapist, we want to make sure that we have, really good function every day. This woman couldn't flatten her hands. So you imagine the pain and discomfort. After 36 days, she could flatten her hand. So the real point of difference with this collagen is that it is, one, a liquid. It's a marine liquid, but it has 10 different types of collagen peptides. And I want to bring to your attention type 18, right? This lines all the blood vessels, regulates your bloodstream and surrounding tissues. Type 28 it impacts your spinal nerves, chronic pain, central nervous system. Think of cognitive decline, heart health. I could be going on and on about all the benefits for this. And there's many other collagens out there on the market. But really, when you really do your research, you'll see none of them activate collagen production. This one bottle a day, you just drink one little bottle a day, helps you make your own collagen again. It supplements, replenishes the collagen that you've lost, and it maintains. So it means you don't lose any more collagen. It stops the breakdown. It's a marine collagen. It's hydrolyzed, meaning we absorb it. We can pretty much absorb 90% of it because it's liquid and it's hydrolyzed. There's no chemical processing. 5,000 milligrams of collagen. It's ready to drink. It activates superoxide dismutase, another vital antioxidant molecule that we have within us. And it has 10 different types of collagen. So when you pair these two together, and I'm going to go into the research a little bit here, and I'm not going to have time to go through all the research. If you want to really bed down in that, I really recommend go back to the person who's invited you or shared this clip with you, because I am happy to talk science until the cows come home, but I don't have enough time to do it here. So this is what we call the Healthy Glow Essentials. We take the protein amino 2 to help us make antioxidants. We take the liquid collagen to help us make our own collagen again, right? If you hate ice baths, you take these two products. Now, reminding you of when I was talking about the interleukins. Yes, the interleukins. Remember I said take note. Increased production of the interleukins is associated with inflammatory conditions and diseases. Holy dooly, this is huge. When you look at this, right, and again, I'm not going to go through it all because we don't have enough time, but when you take these two products together, and this is exactly what I do, I take one tablet and I swallow it with my liquid collagen every single afternoon without fail, because I've seen the research, I've seen the studies. So we're just going to focus on these three interleukins. So when we look at it, right, this one here, we're reducing this inflammatory marker by 38%. When this is elevated, it's linked to chronic respiratory issues and discomfort and pain. Yes, interleukin 1B, we're reducing it by 97%. I haven't seen anything like this, 100% natural, that does this. High levels can lead to chronic inflammation, joint pain, autoimmune flare-ups, mood disturbances, and long-term health issues like heart issues. Interleukin 6, high levels can lead to autoimmune conditions, metabolic and mood disorders. We're reducing it by 88%. I'm not even talking about all the other things. Like, you can take a screenshot, do your own research, type it in, Google it. What does it mean? What do these genes and these enzymes mean? You know, like, holy dooly. And then we're looking at these ones, yeah? When overactive, it's associated with everything from autoimmune diseases to chronic fatigue, brain fog, neurodevelopmental issues. We're not claiming to, you know, reverse, cure, mitigate any disease or condition. We're just telling you what this research shows, right? Same with this one here, NFKB2. Very similar, but you can add leaky gut, immune overreaction, mood issues, and hormone disruption to the mix. Seriously, if you want to go through it, just reach out. Do your own research. So what else can we activate? Well, before we jump over to Madeleine, Colleen, can you just unmute, darling? I couldn't see you when we first started. So if you could just unmute yourself and just introduce yourself, just give people a bit of an idea of why, because Colleen was the one saying, can we do a science call? Why did you get started? Why were you interested in this? Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for having me, Rhonda. Well, I've been sort of introduced to LifeVantage a few years ago, but didn't really understand what activation was. And so I just shelved it. I've been a nurse for 40 years. And what I've noticed as I walk into the hospital now is just the general unwellness of the population. And I work as a midwife, and Rhonda's completely right. Our babies are born with oxidative stress. Even just 12 years ago, when I qualified as a maternal and child health nurse, I think autism rates were really low, and now they're 1 in 30. I think I can remember the lecture where they said that our autism rates are about 1 in 100 when I first started. Now they're 1 in 30, and it's just what is happening to the planet with the mobile phone technology, the EMFs, we're exposed to radiation, we've got satellites, we're actually living in a human microwave. And I think that's really impacting on our health at a cellular level. So when Tina introduced me to this again, and I finally sat down and applied myself a little bit to have a look at it, I was just amazed that actually learning about oxidative stress inside the cell and how activation is our own bodies, making our own body's ability, the circumstances right for our body to heal itself, which is it's just fabulous. So yeah, and prior to starting on the mind body system, which I've been on for 3 months now, I was taking a synthetic GLP-1 injectable. And yep, I lost weight, but it really frightened me when I saw how much muscle I was losing. And that wasn't part of the longevity plan at all. I'm so fearful of sarcopenia and muscle loss and bone loss. So I decided to switch over to this, and I've maintained muscle. In fact, I've gained muscle. I've lost centimeters. I haven't lost any weight, which I'm fine about because I haven't lost muscle, and I know I've gained it. So I'm feeling really happy. And recently we had a bit of a traumatic thing happen to us at home. We had a major fire in our shed and burnt the whole contents and the shed down. And I have had some sort of flashbacks from the fire. But going back overnight when I'm sleeping, I can get up and go to the loo and come back and go straight back to sleep. And that was not me before I activated my body. So I would stay awake and ruminate and have flashbacks and things like that. But now I can't believe how much my sleep quality has improved. It's amazing. So, and that just impacts you for the rest of the day if you sleep well.
Yeah, I totally agree. Thank you so much. And Colleen, you know, like her credentials are as long as your arm, and the experience that she has. So we really value having your input, and I look forward to working with you and educating more people as we go. So yeah, thank you so much. So I'm going to pass over to Madeline now. Madeline was actually the lady who introduced me to these products, and it took me a while to actually get my head around it because I was really quite skeptical because of the distribution model. But you cannot get these products any other way, and everything is independently peer-reviewed, studied, and I absolutely love that. To me, it's a big tick. So, Madeline, are you on the call, darling?
Yes, thank you, Rhonda.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks for that beautiful introduction. And I can completely relate with that. When I started with the products, when my friend introduced me, she told me it's like a supplement, but a little bit different. And I started with the products, didn't feel anything on day 1 and 2. And then on day 3, I woke up before 5 o'clock, before my alarm. And I remember laying in bed thinking, this is too easy. You can't just drink a pill and feel this great, because for many, many years I've been heavily invested in supplementation and like Rhonda, doing everything right, but never really experiencing the benefit. I really struggled with brain fog and fatigue. And when I started on the activators, I was so mind blown to think as a health professional, no one has ever talked to me about the major focus of oxidative stress and what you can do to really tap into your body's own biological intelligence, because that's exactly what we're doing. And that's why it's working so well. You are literally speaking to your body in a way that it really understands. So our latest activator is the GLP-1. And I'm really excited about this because so many people are on the injectables like Colleen shared. GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptide 1, and it's basically a hormone that is produced in the L cells of your gut. So the function of the GLP-1 is when you put something in your mouth and it reaches your gut, it's going to send a signal to your brain, and then the brain is going to perceive that signal to say you are eating food, you are full now, you need to stop eating, and then that signal is going to go back to your gut. So it's really the whole gut brain communication that is so important, and it's not only for what you are experiencing in terms of weight loss, but also the gut brain connection that Rhonda spoke about in terms of mental health. So it's really a broad portion of overall health and well-being. Now, it definitely has an impact on the hunger signals, the craving control, increased satiety, but you also have GLP-1 receptors in so many other of your organs. In your heart, you've got GLP-1 receptors in your brain, in your pancreas. So it's going to impact on blood sugar regulation, and that is actually how the GLP-1 product started. It was for the diabetic market to regulate their blood sugar, and then they had such amazing results in terms of weight loss that the whole weight loss market took off. As I mentioned, cardiovascular health, it will reduce your oxidative stress, improve your mood. It's neuroprotective. You can go online and you can type in GLP-1 and any type of degenerative condition, there's a link. And then also massive impact in regards to liver, kidney, and pancreatic health. Thank you, Rhonda. Now, what we have is an amazing product. It's a two-part system. It's the MB Core and the MB Enhance. MB Core are tablets. MB Enhance is a powder. So first thing in the morning when you wake up, you take the core. The core is going to activate the GLP-1 in your L cells. So it's going to boost the GLP-1 production. But then at the same time, 30 minutes later, you are going to take the MB Enhance. The MB Enhance has a lot of fiber, and that is going to feed your gut, because you don't just want those good microbiome in your gut. You actually want to feed the microbiome. And then when you have a better environment for your gut microbiome, then in turn, it's going to help you to build even more GLP-1. Now, we were so privileged to have a clinical study, 12-week independent study, and the results are out. It is absolutely incredible, so much better than we anticipated. And it has shown that GLP-1 is increased with 220% after 12 weeks. That is absolutely incredible. And just for perspective, we are a health-based company, so we would always recommend that you also focus on lifestyle, because all of those factors are going to accelerate the results that you are having. But in this particular study, those people actually didn't all of a sudden start to eat differently, exercise. It was literally just starting on the activator, the GLP-1 activator, and their GLP-1 increased by 220%. That is absolutely unheard of. Now, here's some of our results. So this guy is from the US, Tyler Daniels. He lost 11 kilos in 12 weeks. And as you can see, very visible results. But as I've mentioned previously, all the systemic benefits that he's experiencing, when I look at him, I'm just thinking, oh my goodness, this guy is sleeping better and he's feeling better. His blood sugar is better regulated. Same for Kim. Kim lost 6.8 kilos. I know Kim shared her testimonial and she said she's sleeping a lot better. Her brain fog is better. It just feels like your brain is on. And I also think if you've been activated for a couple of years, I've been activated for the last 7 years, and I thought, well, I'm as good as it gets. And then I started with a GLP-1 and I was like, oh my word, there's another level to health. I feel absolutely incredible. Sleep really amazing. Now, this is our amazing Rhonda. Rhonda presented previously. She lost 6 kilos in 8 weeks. 1 centimeter of her bicep, 2.5 of her bust, 5 centimeters on her waist, 3 on her hips, and 3 centimeters on her thighs. But I know that Rhonda also experienced a lot of systemic benefits. Rhonda, do you want to unmute and just share a little bit about those?
Yeah, thank you. I was really quite skeptical about this, but when I trialed it, I was just absolutely amazed because what I noticed straight away was I wasn't having any kind of cravings or anything, but I was sleeping really well. But I was so switched on. It was like I felt good before, but then when I added this in, it was like a full clarity just came over me. And I just want to also notice, like, I didn't have any exercise during this 8 weeks because I sprained my left ankle really badly. So I was flat out even walking. But yeah, so the results without changing anything, I was already eating really well. And, I still had the occasional glass of red wine, but it wasn't, I didn't really feel like drinking. But yeah, I was still eating whole foods, protein, and I was just eating less because I felt contented. And yeah, I'm back wearing my old clothes, and the muscle tone, like you can see just around my bottom there, the muscle memory that just immediately came back. I was pleasantly surprised, I can tell you. And my ankles, the straps on my shoes have gone down a notch, and my belt notch has gone down 3 notches. So yeah, very, very grateful.
Awesome. Thanks for the share, Rhonda. This is definitely the unfair advantage. So these are two people from the US. It's a husband and wife. So as you can see, the wife, she says, I will not stop shouting about this from the rooftops because I have never felt better. And again, it's not just the external changes, it's what's happening on the inside. Her husband lost 50 pounds in 4 months and he didn't diet. He didn't use the shots, didn't deprive himself, didn't give up alcohol or
Woo! I see that.
yeah.
Alcohol. He didn't give up alcohol. Sorry.
So again, we do recommend that you are mindful about what you put in your body because the whole picture is going to add to your results. But I think for me personally, the biggest benefit with the GLP-1 compared to what people are traditionally doing is traditional diets are so focused on starvation and willpower. And you always feel like a failure because why can't I do better? And with GLP-1, for me personally, it was literally within the first 3 to 5 days where I just felt something is kicking in and it's not that struggle anymore. And I'm not hungry all the time and I'm not thinking of food. So results speak louder than words. And here's the results of our 12-week study, the blood panel results, 220% increase in GLP-1, 88% of the subjects improved their A1C by half a unit, 122% increase in GIP, and that is going to help with your weight loss goals and your metabolic health, 74% increase in average pancreatic polypeptides, and then 5% increase in leptin. Leptin, again, is going to help you not to have all of those cravings. So all of those results are really amazing. And then from the feedback, 80% experienced decreased food cravings, 80% experienced decreased sugar cravings specifically, 90% experienced decreased alcohol cravings, 97% experienced decreased soda cravings, and 89% experienced decreased cravings around fast foods. 91% experienced decreased portion sizes at meals, 86% felt decreased appetite, 80% felt satisfied between meals. That doesn't happen for a lot of people. And then 77% experienced increased ability to resist snacking. So really helping you with that gut-brain connection to say no to the wrong foods. Up to 8.6% of body fat decrease over the 12 weeks, up to 8.1% subcutaneous fat. So that's the fat under your skin. But then even more importantly, 18.8% decrease in visceral fat. That's the fat around your organs. That's a dangerous fat. You want your visceral fat to be as low as possible because it has a very big correlation with longevity. And then the next one is extremely important. When we look at the injectables, a lot of people, and Colleen also reported on that, a lot of people are losing muscle, which is not great because when you are losing your muscle and you stop with the injectables and then you start to gain fat again, your muscle to fat ratio is even worse than before you started. Now, what would be really amazing is if you can say, I can retain my muscle. But what we can say is even better. It's a step better. In this clinical trial, in the 12 weeks, there was an up to 7.2% increase in skeletal muscle, which is amazing, especially for people over 40. When you lose your estrogen, you go into menopause, it is just so much harder. Rhonda also talks about the collagen, so that's a massive win. And on average, it was a 7.4 kilo weight reduction over the 12 weeks, which is amazing. And that is how we want you to lose weight so that your body can adjust to the process. Here's more before and afters. You can see very visible results from the 16th of January, 2nd of February. So that's about 2-3 weeks. Very welcome. Changes there. And then non-scale victories. I'm not going to read through all of those, but all of those people are really talking about the benefits that they are experiencing in regards to feeling better, sleeping better, having less brain fog, feeling switched on. I know one of the women said she felt like she can run through a wall, so really feeling amazing. So, we are here to help you with your mind body journey, and we've got different ways in which you can get started. So, from the bottom up, the bronze plan is for you to start on the Kickstart bundle. Rhonda beautifully explained everything about NRF2, the probiotic that's going to work on your gut health, and then the Axio that's going to switch on your brain. But then, if you want to go a step higher, you can include the GLP-1 as well on the silver. You're also going to get a free hand cream. Even better than that is the gold pack. With that pack, you're going to get the GLP-1, but then also the collagen. So really going to amplify what's happening in your gut health, gut-brain connection. And then with the platinum one, we're also going to include the NRF1. And the NRF1 is going to help you with your mitochondria feel better, have more energy, not just physically when you open your eyes in the morning, but really for every organ to do its job to have more energy. Rhonda, I'm not sure if I missed that slide, but there was one other thing that I wanted to mention. In the clinical study, what they found was everyone that was on the border of diabetes, pre-diabetic, after 12 weeks, they were no longer pre-diabetic. That is absolutely incredible from a health perspective, longevity perspective. And again, I want to say these people were not instructed to run a marathon every single day. It was literally just including the GLP-1. So that is a massive, massive plus.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's predominantly because the GLP-1 was increased by 220% plus the GIP-1. And when you put those two together, the blood sugar regulation is just beautiful. So yeah, you've discussed that really well. Thank you so much.
So for everyone starting as a customer, we've got a beautiful gift. It's a hand cream. It is also NRF2 activated. Hands down, this is the best hand cream on the planet. Whenever I use a hand cream, I'm always annoyed because your hands, when you touch paper, it doesn't feel well. It's all sticky. This is not the same, and it's NRF2 activated, so absolutely beautiful. Really great for the skin of your of your hands. And then for those of you who are thinking, oh my goodness, I can think of so many people who will benefit from these products and activation, we have an amazing promotion if you want to start as an affiliate. So basically, you are just sharing the products like we are doing tonight. You can invite people onto a Zoom call, and you can get 10% off. Now, we've got different packs. For every dollar that you invest, you are actually going to get products. So the more you invest, the more products you're going to get. When I personally started, I started on the largest pack because I wanted to try it all. And all the products are amazing. But there is one of those packs with a red circle, which is a really great option as well if you want to start mid-level. Please go back to the person that invited you. They will be able to guide you. So now is the time to get loud about activation. Think of the people in your world, your hairdresser. We were talking about toxic products and the toxic load, naturopaths, nutritionists, moms and dads who just want to feel better and be a better parent, have healthier children, small business owners, beauty therapists, physiotherapists, personal trainers, masseurs, chiropractors. So many people can benefit from this, people who are working in the online space. And what I really appreciate about this company is it's an established company. We are doing $250 million every single year in these activation products. We are committed to activation, not Me Too products, science-based, real products with real results. And when I started with this company, I went through the science. I was so amazed because you may not know this, but all the supplements in the world combined do not have 28 peer-reviewed studies. We've got 28 peer-reviewed studies on the NRF2 on its own. And it was done by independent universities. So no other company has this, whether it be a pharmaceutical company or a natural-based company. Natural, so much better, because as I previously mentioned, it's literally tapping into your body's innate biological intelligence to do what it's supposed to do. It was founded on science, driven by science, and this company basically started with a question. They wanted to know, is declining health something that we simply need to accept as a part of getting older? And the answer is, heck no, we don't have to. We've got an amazing scientific advisory board. As you can see, we've got chiropractors, a pharmacist, osteopathic medicine specialist, a pediatrician, another chiro. Dr. Sean is a neuroradiologist. Dr. Sveta is a medical doctor, but she has extensive background in oncology. And then another medical doctor, Kairos, Dr. Cherie is in the nutrition space. So all of these people, really, really credible. We've got cardiologists. There's one cardiologist in the US. He saw all of the science and he said, it sounds too good to be true. So I'm going to do my own research study. He put 3,500 of his own patients on the NRF2. And all of them had improved results. NRF2 is the only natural product that was ever featured in the American Heart Association journal. Absolutely incredible. We traded on the NASDAQ and we are approved by the NSF. We are listed by the TGA in Australia. The Banned Substances Control Group, we've got international Olympic athletes who are using the products with incredible results. I'm mindful of the time. I can talk until tomorrow about that. But go to the person and ask about those stories, because my husband is an athlete as well. And when he started with the products, he was so skeptical. He was so tuned in, dialed in with his body. And when I talked to him about the products, he was like, nah, I'm not going to use this. And then he started to use the products, had absolutely incredible results. So really, really, it works. It's been featured in so many books and shows like Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz. And all of those universities, all independent studies that they've done on their dollar, and then they publish the results on PubMed. And it's credible universities, Ohio State and Harvard. So my invitation to you is, your life does not get any better by chance, but it gets better by change. So what are you going to do to change your health? So many people are focused on improving their health. After the last couple of years, people really want to go to the next level. And this is something that you can do. You can do it on a part-time basis or as full-time as you want. And we have an incredible community of health professionals and health fanatics who are not necessarily health professionals, but people really elevating the whole world. Thank you so much, Rhonda. I'm going to hand back to you for questions.
Yeah, thank you so much, Madeline. And I just want to say thank you, everyone, for hanging around, because it did go a little bit longer than what we normally would, but we wanted to dig deep and go a little bit further into the science and stuff. So, yeah, I just want to say thank you, everyone, for turning up tonight and for the speakers. And, just please go back to the person who shared this with you, and we can go through any questions. Feel free to reach out, and anyone that would like to stay back for the Q&A, please, feel free to do so. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good evening.